We see a lost city, built in an impossible place. But what if the remote location wasn't the challenge? What if it was the solution? A geological secret that provided stone, water, and survival. This is the hidden genius of the Inca. Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Okay, so when you think of Machu Picchu, the image is usually that lost city, right? Super remote, hard to get to. But today, we're going to skip those romantic ideas. Our sources suggest the location wasn't picked despite the challenges. It seems it was chosen precisely because of them. The siting of this royal estate and sacred sanctuary looks like a really deliberate, almost audacious piece of planning.
Exactly. I mean, when Emperor Pachacuti commissioned this around 1450, it wasn't just about, putting up some buildings for 750 to maybe 1,000 residents. It needed to be this perfect blend of the practical and the sacred. They absolutely needed things like water and stone. But just as important, the structures had to align perfectly with the sacred mountains around them, the apices, their mountain spirits, and specific sacred rocks, the huacas.
And it was also, well, a machine in a way, a sophisticated astronomical tool. You've got the Inca stone people, call it the hitching post of the sun, and the temple of the sun, the Torion, that curved temple structure. These weren't just decorative, they were functional, used to track solstices, which gave them the calendar they needed to run their whole agricultural year. Super critical. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting based on the geology. Geologist Geraldo Menegat mapped the ridge, and what he found was, well, pretty striking. The whole city sits right on top of intersecting tectonic fault lines. It forms this clear X shape, basically right under the city itself.
Yeah, and building on fault lines sounds completely backwards, right? Counterintuitive. But this seems to be the core genius of the location. Those faults actually solved 3 huge engineering challenges for them. First, building material. The fracturing from the faults acted like a sort of natural rock saw. It essentially created a natural quarry up there.
Yeah.
The granite was already broken into manageable blocks right on the ridgetop. Think about that. It basically eliminated the need to quarry stone down below and haul massive blocks up the mountain. The energy saving is just unbelievable.
Right, so they didn't have to drag it all the way up from the valley. They just used what the earth had already broken for them right there. Okay, that makes sense for stone. But what about water? That's always a problem high up.
That's the second big advantage. The fault network acted like a natural plumbing system, like an aqueduct underground. It channeled meltwater and rainwater straight to a reliable year-round spring on the northern slope. The Inca then tapped into that with their amazing water system, that 749-meter canal feeding 16 fountains. So water supply, check. And the third key advantage is stability, or really drainage, which helps with stability long-term. That same network of cracks and fractures underground provided fantastic natural subsurface drainage. And this place gets a lot of rain, nearly 2,000 millimeters a year. Without that natural drainage, the whole site could have just washed away centuries ago. It explains its longevity.
It's kind of amazing. It feels like they weren't trying to conquer the mountain, but more like work with it, enhancing its natural strengths. And it's staggering to think that maybe 60% of the construction effort is actually invisible. It's all underground foundations and these complex drainage systems keeping those steep slopes from collapsing.
If you're finding this deep dive valuable, take a moment to subscribe to make it make sense. New topics are broken down every week.
Exactly, and that resilience thinking went right up to the surface structures, too. They knew it was an earthquake zone, so they used that famous ashlar masonry fitting stones perfectly without mortar. The polygonal blocks, like puzzle pieces. We sometimes call them dancing stones.
Dancing stones. Why dancing?
Well, because without rigid mortar binding them, the walls could actually shift and move a little during an earthquake. They could dissipate the seismic energy, sort of dance with the tremor, and then settle back into place. Plus, they added stability with things like trapezoidal doorways and walls that lean slightly inward. Simple, but really effective structural trick.
So you take this incredible imperial planning, this foresight, and now fast forward to today. We run into this sort of conservation paradox, don't we? The very remoteness and steepness that made it secure and defensible for the Inca is now a huge challenge for managing it.
Oh, absolutely. You have, over 1.5 million visitors a year trying to access this incredibly sensitive site. That massive foot traffic turns its natural defenses into a modern logistical headache. You see erosion on the paths, and just managing waste disposal in such a remote place puts enormous strain on the site.
So wrapping this up, the sighting of Machu Picchu wasn't some lucky accident some lost city found. It was really a deliberate synthesis, a mix of deep geological understanding, brilliant engineering, and profound spiritual belief all coming together.
Right. The Incas showed this incredibly holistic way of thinking, where practical solutions for things like stone and water were completely woven into their understanding of the cosmos and the sacred landscape. Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to consider. Think about that decision to build right on the tectonic faults. It gave them stone, it gave them water, and it gave them drainage. If they had chosen an easier spot, maybe somewhere more accessible down in the valley, without those specific geological gifts, would Machu Picchu even still be standing today? Would it have lasted 5 centuries? It seems the very challenges they embraced were maybe the ultimate key to its survival.
Thanks for joining our deep dive. If this sparked an idea for a future topic, let us know in the comments below. You can continue exploring this subject by watching our next video right here, or subscribe to catch all our future breakdowns. We'll see you in the next one.